Hi there, everyone, and welcome to this latest episode of OneTake. I'm excited to do this today. There's a great question that David said that he has to ask me, usually when he gets that look in his eye, I'm excited. So, David, I'll leave it to you. Which question am I answering today?
So, Nick Richmond has been churning out some pretty good ones for us. We did one a couple weeks ago. This one that he asked is very dear to me as enterprise development here. It's something that I see on a day-to-day basis. So I think he had a good question on what is the biggest objection that we get when it comes to a firm purchasing AI solution,
legal tech solutions. Yeah, so I think that is a very good question. I think, and thank you, Nick. If you could put up, I know Nick's a man of two Twitter handles, so you can put them both up here. So I think the biggest objection that folks get is, and something thankfully for us, we've kind of grew out of in many ways is, if this was so great, why isn't everyone using the product already? And that's always pretty interesting because I find that in many other industries, people see the competitive advantage of hopping onto a tool early. And we had that as well. I mean, some of our early adopters came on quite early and helped us kind of shape things, which has been fantastic. But for a lot of the folks, because I'm in Silicon Valley, and I get to talk to different legal tech companies, but I also travel a lot, and I talk to legal tech companies around the country and around the world. And what they keep telling me is, hey, I got this great idea, and a lot of these law firms are like, if it's so great, why isn't someone using it? So it's kind of like a chicken and the egg problem. It's like a funny catch-22. And so I think that to overcome that objection, I wish I had, I'm sure some legal tech folks, if you're watching this, are like, okay, he's going to tell us. There is no real answer to that question other than, trying to make sure that you go to as many events and show your product and show the strengths of your product to a lot of people, and then really use those early adopters of your platform and use them as people to help you and people to let you know which way that product should grow. And so, Nick, I know that your question's kind of more of almost like a sales perspective, but we take the kind of thought process here at Ross that it's all about sales, obviously, but it's also about a relationship and a partnership. And I think to overcome that main objective, it's really about making law firms feel part of that decision-making process. And I think that's vital for any new product as well. So when it comes to that objection, I think that's probably the biggest one. Some of the other objections that you of course hear, and this one's classic, I guess I'll make this a kind of multiple parter, David smiling, is, a classic one is, this is funny, but if this makes me more efficient, then how am I going to still have more hourly billing to bill my client? And so it's a fear that if we become efficient, we're going to lose money. And I think, that's a really dangerous way of thinking about things because our clients have already moved on. Coming out of 2008, the genie was out of the bottle. I was at a meeting recently, someone said, the toothpaste is out of the tube. I like that analogy more. But essentially, our clients are looking for efficiencies. And law firms are already bringing that in through a variety of tools. So anytime that I get that objection, I really make it clear that, this is a new era. It's 2017. Law is changing. And the delivery of legal services is changing dramatically. So an objection to the fact that a product makes you more efficient, I think is really kind of an outdated objection. You still hear it a lot. And that's one that comes up as well. I always like doing things in three, so I'll probably have one more. And David, if you have one, hop in with me. But I think another one that I always get is, and this one sounds fair up front, but if you bring in these efficiency tools, if you bring in something like ROSS Intelligence, how are these new associates going to learn and develop? And I think the same thing happened when you bring in any new tool like the calculator. There was this fear that, what's going to happen when we bring in this technology? People are going to forget how to do things. Let's think about a really interesting profession, engineering. Engineers used to have to use slide rules and compasses to try to calculate things. It was a very painstaking process and one that didn't make much sense once you had things like the calculator and other technology come into play. Did engineers disappear? Absolutely not. What ended up happening was technology became, increased the pace of development. We've been able to do such incredible things because these tools can speed that up. And I see the same thing happening in law. And a lot of the time, with a tool like ROSS can go out there, it can get you the information you need more efficiently, it can help you with that data retrieval, it can do a whole bunch of things. But it's not going to jump in there and advocate for your client for you. That's where you come in. It's not going to do a bunch of tasks that are uniquely human, but what it will do is make you more efficient in that process. So the idea that these tools will somehow lead to the extinction of associates or new is kind of misguided, and it's the same thing we saw repeatedly whenever you introduce new technology. So, in summary, Nick, thanks for your question. What's the biggest objection? I think that I kind of went through kind of 3 there. Of course, you have your classic, why isn't everyone using it already? It should be ubiquitous all the time with law firms because they kind of do a herd mentality in what technology they like to use. I don't think there's an answer there other than a lot of hard work, forming close partnerships and growing as a company, something that we're proud to have done. The second one, of course, is if you bring in efficiency, what does this mean for my billable hours? I think the answer there is really showing them what the world's turned. And it's not turned against law, it's really kind of, there's a way to do things now that's different than the way it was done before, and there's tremendous opportunity in that as well. And then lastly, of course, you have an objection to kind of what this new technology is going to do when it comes to training new lawyers and associates. And the answer there is that's always what folks have worried about. And it's something that, the calculator, for example, now I have my cell phone, I can do advanced calculations, but I still know how to add and multiply, etc. And that's thanks to a lot of my early teachers in math. So they were worried that I would get, and I remember hearing, Andrew, you're not going to have a calculator everywhere you go, but I have more than that now, and I'm still doing fine. So thanks so much, Nick. If any of you out there have any additional questions, please send them in. We have, you can send them in directly via my Twitter. You can also send them in via email, so you can do that. And thanks so much. This one was really exciting for me because I think, as you can see, a lot of these objections have answers to them. And if I can help any other legal tech companies, I mentor some different communities, but if you're out there and you need some help, don't hesitate to reach out via Twitter. I'm always interested in giving back and helping out. Thank you.